Good morning. Welcome to my channel. My name is John. 231 days ago, I walked out my house just over there, just over my shoulder, onto this canal path, and I walked for 10 minutes and explained where I was at in life. And to recap on that, it was that I had just spent a year with poor health. I had lost my father, and at the end of the year I'd lost my job, and I knew I needed something new. And I made a 10-minute video to introduce myself and talk about each of those topics. And at the end of that video, I said that I wanted to go on adventure. I wanted to shake things up and give my wife and I something different in life, to escape the matrix, to escape everyday normal life as it had been lived at that point, which was a 9-to-5 grind, chasing every penny that was possible to try and give ourselves something. Hey, good morning. And just like in that video, I had to walk by my first ever person and deal with the realities of holding a camera in front of yourself and talking. Well, today is the 28th of August, so 7 months and 19 days later. And what has changed? Well, this channel has grown to over 10,000 subscribers. We're just about to hit 1 million views here. And personally, we've sold 95% of our possessions that we've accumulated between my wife and I over 30 years of being together. And this year, this October, will be our 10th wedding anniversary. And I now find myself here with no job. And now, from today, no house either. And that is a very weird feeling. But when I set out with a goal in mind, with an image in my head of my wife and I standing arm in arm outside of our house with a van packed, that is today. And in that time, I've made 155 videos sharing exactly what we were aimed to do, how we would do it, how much money I've made here on YouTube, the things that I've sold, the places that I've sold them. And in a couple of days' time, I will tally all that up and tell you exactly what we made out of all of it. And then what comes next from today is a van drive back to Scotland and a 2-week period to say hello and goodbye to friends and family for an undetermined amount of time. I am now fully out of work and with no plans to go back into employment. My wife is taking a 1-year sabbatical from her job with the view that it's a bit of a safety backstop. If things don't work out for us, we run into trouble, we've got a bit of a grounding here to come back to the UK. But I'll say this, I hope that that won't be the case, that we can make this run, this extended stay away, as long as we can possibly make it. That's the goal. And so the objective of the channel moving forward is not that now that we are here at this point, the day that I aimed for, that this is the end, that the content just stops. Instead, we will take you on that adventure with us, and we will show you where we live, how much it costs to live, and what life is like outside of the United Kingdom. And I don't want to put any kind of negative spin on this channel, other than to be honest with you and say, I've just had it here. I've had it. I've reached my point of I just need a breakaway. We've been governed by two successive governments who do not have the people on side. They do not have the people's best interests. We have been taxed into oblivion, and we have been exploited at every single opportunity by dishonest MPs, dishonest governments, and all the other murkiness that goes on with it. And for me, I've just got to a point where I'm like, well, a 31-year run of employment came to an end at Christmas, and now it feels like the opportunity to try and do something different. I'm not sure how we'll make money. I will work here on YouTube, create content. In that time, 200 plus days, I've managed to monetize this channel and a second channel to give me some income. Beyond that, I have some savings and I have some strategies for it that I'll share in more detail once that I've been able to break free of the shackles of living here in the Midlands and dealing with the house and the sale of all of our possessions. Now that that's over, I can start to focus on what content I can bring you next on this journey. And really the goal here is to try and give those who are interested in a different way of life and escaping out of the matrix, the 9-to-5 grind, and just going and living a little, the opportunity to see how it can be done, and maybe just a little bit of inspiration from all of this, that over the last 7 months and 19 days you've watched a couple in their mid-40s deal with just life, deal with grief, deal with depression, but find motivation and find the willpower to want to change it. And even though it has not been easy to get to just today, I've had just this in my head for weeks and weeks. You know, I visualise these things. I'm very good at thinking it through, picturing it, and then working towards making it happen. And I think you can too. This won't be for everybody that's watching this. There will be people that's watching. You know, I've read comments from people who have said, "Oh, you've milked this. Oh, you've still got a job. This is just like a side hobby that you've tried out." I've read the people that have told me to hurry up and just F off. But I've also read and heard from people who have said, "This is inspiring what you're doing. We're in the same age bracket, we're thinking the same." And for those people, you are why I make these videos. Because for the people that I hear from that say, "Yeah, we would like to do something different," this is it. This is it in real time. And I walked down this canal path today for the very last time. Oh, I get a little frog in my throat here. As Yvonne and I lay in our bed last night for the last time, big super king size bed, so relaxing. We chuckled to each other that, well, somebody else will be lying in this tomorrow because somebody will come and get the bed today from us and tonight. And that gives us actually a little bit of joy that just things have gone on to other people to enjoy. And that will be in a mate's spare bedroom tonight, and we will be grateful to be hosted by good friends before we find our way to something else. But as I got to this point back on January the 9th and I made that video, you know, I just said, can you relate? Can you relate to what I'm saying? Your challenges of life here in the UK, cost of living, taxation, governments that don't listen, and just how this country is currently feeling right now. To me, that's like a tinderbox, just full of angst and frustrations and troubles boiling over. Well, I just want to go and live my life, and I've worked hard and I've put everything I could into jobs, and I've tried to save up a little bit of money, and all I see is governments that just want to take a little bit more and take a little bit more, and I don't feel valued here. So I'm going to go with my wife and enjoy life somewhere else. So I try and always bookend these things. This, if I was to summarise it, is the end of season 1. That would be the best way to describe this. If this was a season, if this was a TV show, which it isn't, this is our lives, but this feels like the end of season 1. So thank you all for watching. To the people who have watched since the very first video, whew, thank you so much. Can't say it any other way but that. This has been emotional. So as the sun comes up, it's 7 AM, my earliest video to date, I will say thanks everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.